Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel today. Quick disclaimer, I just want to say sorry for the lack of videos the last couple of days. I've been sick, I've been getting over that, but I'm feeling a little bit better today, so I'm going to try to make another video for you guys. So in today's video, we are going to be starting a new series. So in this series, I'm going to be taking a look at every division and previewing them before the start of the season. You can call me Netflix with how many new series I'm starting. But obviously in the offseason, I want to have some consistency and I want to have some regular type of videos that you guys can look forward to every week. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the NFC North, a division that has been largely run by Aaron Rodgers for my entire life, pretty much. And then recently, the Vikings have kind of stuck their nose in the division. But I think with Aaron Rodgers leaving for Jersey Shore and, the Vikings kind of getting really lucky last year, winning 11 one-score games, I think this division is pretty up for grabs. I think the NFC North is a division full of hopefullys, right? You can look at the Bears. Hopefully, Justin Fields takes that big year 3 jump that a lot of quarterbacks have taken. You look at the Packers. Hopefully, Jordan Love is a good successor to Aaron Rodgers. The Vikings, you could say, hopefully are that good again in close games. And for the Lions, the hopefully they can build on their momentum from last year and their new players can incorporate well into Dan Campbell's system and they can become a legit playoff contender. The interesting thing to me about the North is that each team has something very intriguing. I think the Lions are probably the best built roster, but the Vikings, as recently as last year, were the third seed in the NFC. I think the Bears have the most talented quarterback in the division with Justin Fields, and then Green Bay, inarguably, has the most experienced coach in LaFleur, who's won playoff games, who's had continued success in the regular season. So I think each team has one big strength that could potentially lead to their team doing really, really well in 2023. Now, as weird as this might sound to people who just got in a time machine from 5 years ago, I do think Detroit would be the betting favorite to win this division. And like I said, I think that's not even the craziest thing in the world. They had a decent season last year. They were like pretty much just a game away from the playoffs. They added a lot of talent to their roster. C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They added, in the draft, Jahmyr Gibbs and Jack Campbell and Brian Branch, and everything like that. So to say that they got better would be an understatement. But again, I think on paper is not always something that translates to the actual game. I think Detroit caught some breaks last year, and they had a career year from Jared Goff. So can he repeat that? I don't necessarily see a reason why not. I mean, Ben Johnson is returning as the offensive coordinator, one of the best offensive coordinators in the NFL, in my opinion. And like I said, their team definitely got a whole lot better. So I think most people would expect them to win the division. I would also expect them to win the division, but I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit on saying that they are a Super Bowl caliber team. Dan Campbell and those boys have no playoff experience, really. And I think that being young and being inexperienced might come back to bite them a little bit down the line. But for right now, I think that they're going to be pretty good in the regular season. I think that they will win the North. I have them going 10-7. I think that is not too shabby, and it is a really good forward step in their rebuild that started a few years ago. Next, let's talk about the Bears. The Bears are kind of the opposite of the Lions, unfortunately. Their roster is not very good. If you need proof of that, they did just have the number 1 overall pick in the draft. But I think the Bears have an electric quarterback, and I think that Justin Fields is capable of being one of the game's best, one of the top 10 best quarterbacks in the NFL, which is something that it's a ceiling that I don't think Jared Goff has. Justin Fields, however, I think is incredibly talented. And I think with the Bears, obviously making great strides in this offseason, adding DJ Moore, adding Darnell Wright in the draft. He signed a lot of guys in free agency like Edmonds and Edwards, and you got the offensive lineman, and you got DeMarcus Walker. The Bears definitely put their resources to good use, but I still think that they're about a year or two away from being a legit playoff team. Now, assuming all goes right, assuming Justin Fields makes that big leap, cool, you have your guy for the future. But if not, you do have a lot of draft capital to go invest in somebody else next season. So I think the Bears, they'll be an interesting team. They'll be a much improved team. But I don't think that they're going to be on the same level as the Lions are. The Lions are a year or two ahead of the rebuild schedule that the Bears are at right now. And so I think the Lions are definitely going to be a better team than the Bears. I have the Bears going 7-10. Again, a really good improvement from last season, but not necessarily a playoff team just yet. Next, let's talk about the Vikings, who I think the Vikings are another one of these teams in the division that are kind of getting the down arrow and that are going down. Like I said, the Vikings went 11-0 in one-score games last year, and that's just not feasible. That's not something that you're going to repeat every year. Typically, teams go about 500 in one-score games. It's kind of a coin flip. You lose some, you win some. The better teams win about 60% of those games. So even pretending that the Vikings win about 70% of those games, you're still going, 7-4, 6-5, kind of in that area, and that's a 3 to 4 win decrease from what they had last year. So I think Minnesota is kind of in a bit of trouble this year. I also think that there's some stuff going on with Kirk Cousins. Maybe is he out of Minnesota after a year? Who knows? Um, they lost. I'm sorry, they gained Byron Murphy in free agency and Marcus Davenport. But to me, this Vikings team didn't really make big improvements, in my opinion. They spent a pick at wide receiver, and that's good. That they kind of needed an opposite wide receiver of Justin Jefferson with Adam Thielen leaving. But to me, the Vikings seem like a team that's going to take a big step down next year. I have them going 8-9. I have them missing the playoffs, and maybe potentially this is Kirk's last season in Minnesota. Finally, I have the Packers. And like I said, the Packers, out of every one of these teams, is the most drastically changed, not having Aaron Rodgers calling the plays and under center for the first time in a very long time. He went to the Jets. So now it's Jordan Love time. And I think the Packers, as a roster overall, definitely not where they were a few years ago with that elite defense, with those great wide receivers. Um, I think Christian Watson really came on last year and proved that he has superstar potential, but that was with Aaron Rodgers once their chemistry clicked. Jordan Love, again, just a big question mark. We really don't know what Jordan Love is going to be this year. We really don't know how good that defense is going to be this year, how good the other receivers are going to be this year. Can Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon still manage the ground game? We just don't know. They're a big question mark. I don't think their roster is great. But they're also not putrid either. I think again, LaFleur is a decent coach. He'll win them some games. But I have them going 6-10 to be completely honest with you. Again, I think a team that at the very least is going to have an adjustment period with Jordan Love. I don't think he comes in and is great right away. Now down the line, could he be a really good quarterback? Possibly, but for this season, I just don't think that they have it, and I think that they have a pretty bad year compared to their standards. So that's what I think about the NFC North. I have two teams that I thought improved: the Lions and the Bears. I gave them both up arrows. The Vikings and the Packers. I gave them both down arrows. Let me know what you guys think of this list down below, and I will talk to you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.